right, friends and lovers and all the others. That was a heck of a start. Random things happen sometimes in tech, and literally we just had to, Tom had to click on the output source. He didn't even change it. He just clicked on it, and then it started working. So he couldn't hear me, and now he can. So here we are. Thank you for joining us again for another episode of Pod from the Bunker. I interview streamers on Mondays on my Twitch channel. I put it out on my YouTube. I put it out on all the podcast platforms for everyone to check out. We have great artists that come through here, some creators, but mostly musicians. And today is no different. We have another musician. We're going to throw the link in the chat. We do this on Twitch. So if you want to check this out live and interact with the people watching the show, please come on over. It's Kev from the Bunker. And if you're watching this on Twitch right now, we put all the VODs onto YouTube, and all the audio of this podcast goes to all your favorite podcast platforms. So check those out. Give us a like and a subscribe everywhere there. All my links are below as well. You can check out my new merch, and I put 3 videos a week out every week on YouTube, and I put a Patreon up that is just $3 a month. So that's like 30 cents a video. If you enjoy the YouTube, I implore you to check out the Patreon for that. Other than that, today we have Tom Ende of the Ende Brothers, some of my favorite streamers, these guys. I'm going to turn this cam a little bit. And Tom and Kenny have like this brotherly connection musically that is just unbelievable. Very professional, very well organized, and they have tons of gigs all the time. And they've recently been partnered on Twitch. They were at TwitchCon. All sorts of great things are happening. So we'll talk to Tom about that, and we'll see where they came from and where they're going. And I guess without further ado, we're going to switch over to the interview section, where there will be a black screen until I copy our good friend Tom into OBS. So let's do that now, and just bear with me for 2 seconds. Let's see here. I just paste this and hit enter. Drum roll. There he is. Oh, a little delay there, but we got you. You're in the bunker, my man. Virtually.
Yes. This is my first time in the bunker. I've always dreamed of this moment, and I gotta say, it feels different than I expected. But
yeah,
but I'm I'm here nonetheless.
It doesn't smell musty with where you are. You don't have to smell the bunker. We're underground.
Does the bunker? So that's a good question for you. Does the bunker have a scent?
It does now, because we recently have a new roommate. Her name is Macy, and she is a Australian Shepherd dog, so it has a slight scent of dog. Yes.
You know what? I mean, that's a scent that we hate to love.
I know, exactly. Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like when you're smelling dog, you're like, man, I really love a good dog.
You're absolutely right. Speaking of which, do you have a dog?
I love it.
Do you have a dog?
I don't have a dog, but I have 2 cats, so I'm no stranger to
pet smells.
You know, the potential of smelling a pet.
Right. Right on, man. Well, thank you very much for joining us today, and I appreciate it. I know often right beside you there on your left, but our right, we would have our brother, Kenny. Can I ask you, are you guys older? Yeah. What do we have here? Oh, there we go. He's invisible. He's there now. Are you guys the same age, or are you twins, non-identical twins? You look a lot alike. Are you close in age? Where does that stand?
So he's older than I am. I should have made you guess before. We love to do that because we get that question often. So usually we're like, want to take a guess before we tell you? So he's older, but what would you have guessed? Would you have guessed that he's older? Or I'm just curious.
I thought there was a separation. I wouldn't have guessed either way, but by maybe like 18 months at the most.
So you nailed it. It is like 20 months.
Okay.
You're very close. And Kenny's like 20 months older than I am. But I've always said that it feels like like growing up, I would be 12 and he would be 14 or whatever. It just kind of felt like we were both 13.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like we kind of met in the middle in terms of like privileges and, you know, like we would mix friends a little bit. Mm-hmm. We were just the same way that you see us on stream now, and the way that we're the Ende brothers and we're, you know, 2 halves of the same whole. It's kind of always been that way. So we shared a bedroom growing up, and we've always been super, super tight. So less that he's 30 and I'm 28, and more that we're both 29.
Oh, and I guessed the deliberate one said, how old is Tom? And I said, I would say 26 or 28. So I nailed on the top end there. Looking good, bud. Keeping it young, taking your vitamins.
I'm trying.
Right on. And you just got married.
I did just get married. I don't know if I can use my sound effects or not. Probably not. Let's go.
I think they worked. I heard them. I don't know if Chad heard them.
Yeah. Just got married to. I don't know if Sierra Paints is in chat right now, but yeah, very recently. And Joe Theory, who's in chat right now, he would never announce this, but he was the live music at my wedding. He's part of an acoustic duo that doesn't stream, but they're very good. And
Awesome.
And they were the cocktail hour acoustic duo. So
Very good. And that must be something like extra special for you to decide upon for the wedding, right? Being a musical guy. I mean,
it was like there was like two questions that we would get constantly because I'm also Sierra and we photograph weddings.
Mm-hmm.
That's like when I'm not singing songs, I'm camera bodies around here, but I'm photographing weddings, and so people were always like, "Who's photographing your wedding?" Or in this case, who's playing your wedding? So
right,
you're exactly right.
Right on. I was just changing some audio settings because it was cutting you out there, and I'm going to make you sing later, and I do not want it cutting out your voice. But so how did you brothers, I know, and much love to Sierra for being a mod and supporting this journey and supporting a musician, because I know how difficult it is. I'm nearly 40, and I know how difficult it is to like keep a girl and keep her happy, and it's a wild ride doing this stuff. So I'm glad that you guys get along and stuff like that. But how did you and Kenny sort of start making music together? I know you skateboard together, you had a room together. Where did that start?
Yeah, well, I will go back to like the very, very beginning, which I remembered like distinctly being, I think I would have been like 6 and he would have been 8 or maybe even younger.
Right.
I guess 6 and 8 sounds right. But my mom was like, "Hey, you guys gotta you gotta pick an instrument. Like you're gonna take some kind of instrument lessons. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but whatever it is you guys want to do, pick an instrument and we'll pay for lessons for you guys." Just as like I don't know, some parents get their kids involved in sports, and some parents get their kids involved in music. So Kenny chose guitar right then and there at 8 years old, and he never stopped.
Yeah.
I don't remember choosing piano, but my grandma was I don't know if she directed choirs or what it was that she did specifically, but she played piano, and so she was able to give me lessons when I was like 6, but I hated it because I just wanted to play Pokemon. Like I was 6 years old and I was really just like, this sucks. I don't want to sit here and go over like fingering positions and play piano with my grandmother. Like I want to be playing Pokemon. So I kind of bailed on that without ever really making headway, which hindsight 2020, I wish I did not, because piano is a really, really sick instrument to be able to play. And you don't have to really tune it if you're playing keyboards. Like, man, what a hack that is.
I know.
Plus, transposing is like literally just a button on a keyboard. You don't even got to look at a different fret. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good one. Piano's a good one. So I wish that I had played that. But I didn't. I then, I think like retrospectively, Ken and I kind of discovered that School of Rock was a big like influence on us because we were very similar in age to the cast.
Okay.
So if you think about like how that might work for a couple of 12-year-olds when School of Rock comes out to see 12-year-olds rocking. Yeah,
and Jack White.
So then I tried playing drums.
Jack Black, excuse me.
And
I'm like Jack
I
White.
Drums.
Sorry, dude. I got you. I don't mean to talk over you. I just said and Jack White leading them, but it's not Jack White. It's Jack Black. I always imagine it was Jack White though.
Jack White leading them would be amazing.
All right,
but not quite as funny, I'm sure.
So that was an influence, and you guys were sort of 12 going at watching that ish.
Yeah, and I tried to play drums, and that just kind of didn't work out because I wanted to be skateboarding. I didn't want to be playing drums as much as I wanted to be skateboarding. And our singer quit our band when we were in like middle school, high school, and it was kind of like, well, what if we got a new drummer? And Tom just started singing, so. Then I started singing in a band, and it wasn't until like way later that I started playing guitar in an acoustic duo format. So Kenny and I had like hard rock bands throughout high school and a little bit after as well, and that was like a really big thing for us for a long time. So you can kind of tell because Kenny shreds so well that like he's a real lead guitar type, and I was just a lead vocalist who happened to end up picking up a guitar because I had to.
No, it's the same as me, dude. Welcome to the family.
Yeah, right? Yeah. It's like, I'm really just here to rip some vocals, but
I'll
suppose if
myself.
I have to play, I'll play.
Yeah. I'll accompany myself if I need to. So you guys started playing in middle school and high school bands. So what happens when so let me get to the point where you're singing lead band and he's playing guitar. So how does that sort of end and the duo begin?
Yeah. Well, I think starting like from a kind of high school like age, we were really like eyes on the prize, like super grinding for hard rock success.
Okay.
And we're talking like I'm in my first job, I'm taking my whole paycheck and I'm putting it into recording an album type of thing, and I'm paying for all sorts of stuff. Like we were really going for it.
Right.
And we did fairly well considering we're a couple kids from a small town. But after a while, it just got to the point where as we were growing up, other members of the band were just we would be like, oh, we gotta, maybe if we make a video of us covering this song and submit it to this contest, we could do this. And they were just kind of like, do we have to? Like, do we have to make the video?
They got to be all in, right?
Yeah. And these guys were great musicians, and for a while everybody was all in, but it just got to a point where it got so difficult it felt like I was just pulling everybody along with me and being like, come on guys, we gotta do this.
Right.
And at a certain point, I remember Kenny just like in the band group chat, just being like, or we could just fucking quit. And it just like really resonated with me at one time where I had never thought that way before because I was so focused on doing it that
Right.
I never considered, what if I just didn't?
Yeah.
And Kenny had texted that, and I remember reading it and being like, maybe we will quit. Like, maybe we could just quit. And then we did. And I don't regret it at all. I'm happy. I think when we were younger, we had a 5-piece band, and then we ended up, we were savage. We kicked a lot of people out of our bands throughout the years just because we were always trying to upgrade. We had a 5-piece, that went to a 4-piece, and we said, damn, this is cool. This feels easier. And now going down to a 2-piece, it's even easier. So it's just, it feels a little more organic and a little less, like, there's just so many less obstacles when you only need 2 people in the photo shoot, or 2 people in the writing session, or 2 people in the stream room. You know, like, I love a good full band on Twitch, but that's got to be tough.
Yeah, I tell people it's like having 3 or 4 other boyfriends. You got to be like, are you going to be on time? Are you ready? Did you get your, is this ready? Did we order ticket? All that stuff. It all is like with 4 different dudes. It's impossible. It's very difficult. That's why I'm a one-man band. I play with those silly drums over there and don't hire anybody. I don't have a brother, so it's... Oh, I do. I have a brother who doesn't play music. I mean, I have a brother who's not performing. So,
so how did that work for you then? Like, what was your how did you end up so far into music and he didn't?
Oh, okay. Well, just I thought you meant about bands. Like same went with me is like people just weren't into it as much as I was, and I was dragging everyone along. Very similar to you. My brother and I were both really into sports. We played a lot of sports, high school sports, varsity team stuff. And hockey was really, really big. Obviously, you're from upstate New York. I'm from southern Ontario. We're literally a skip across the lake. And I think because I was a little bit older, when I realized, I'm never going to be Doug Gilmour anymore, I started playing guitar. And my brother kept playing hockey for a little while. And then he just kind of went off to college and played like men's league and had fun with that and didn't really... I just picked up music after I realized I wasn't going to be an NHL star anymore.
Okay, I like it. So it's almost like how I quit a band and was like, I'm just gonna do this thing. You're like, I don't think I'm gonna be. I'm not gonna be Bon Jovi, so I'm just gonna, play at the breweries or whatever. And you're like, I'm not gonna.
The same thing you said.
I'm not gonna crush this NHL.
I played with bands though too, and the same thing you said is like I never really considered breaking up with the bands, and then I did, and it felt really good. And same went with I had a divorced man. I never considered getting divorced because your vow is till death do us part, and I thought that's what I had to do, and so I never considered it. And then I thought, that's an option, and also I felt better. So I was just reflecting with your journey. I know it's not as big, but the same thing went through my head for my divorce and stuff like that. So when you guys started doing the duo thing, it was like, let's make some money instead of let's make rock stars.
I mean, to be honest, like that, what it was is I had mentioned just like how hard we grinded for so long that it felt like once we finally didn't feel like we needed to write, and we didn't need to like make all this content and like essentially like fake this larger than life band mentality, it was like, this is super nice to like, I don't have to write any music. I don't have to play any shows that aren't paying me well. I don't have to do anything.
Right.
And that felt really good for a few years. And it really was like, I always like joke to people that when you're in an original band, like you create a lot of bills for yourself. It costs a lot of money to do that. And so when you're in a cover band or when you're playing these wineries and breweries that we both play, you pay a lot of bills.
Yeah.
Like it's instead of creating bills for myself, I wanted to start paying bills with music. And so I actually originally played an acoustic duo with the bassist of my old band.
Okay.
And part of him, you know, kind of checking out of the band was him also checking out of the acoustic duo. So I was like, well, that's great. I'll check somebody else in. My brother's, you know, no offense, but he's better than you anyways. So it's like it works out.
Better than most people.
The other guy's still very good, but and he plays by himself now, and everyone's fine and good and happy. But that's right. Joe Theory knows you're going to pay those bills, baby.
Yeah, well, and another thing that comes with that, Tom, and a lot of times I ask the question, how do you balance making money and making art, is like you do have to feed your soul a little bit. So yeah, that cover gig is going to feed me physically. I'll be able to buy food and pay my bills, but your soul gets a little bit fed if you do like something creative, whether that's an original show or write a song or create something. So how do you find a balance with that? Or do you, what's that about for you in your mind?
Yeah, well, interestingly enough, I don't feel like I felt motivated to write any music until joining Twitch.
Okay.
Because that's when I started to feel like there was a community of people who actually wanted to hear it again.
Okay.
And it didn't feel, you know, when you're playing, you more than anybody know what it feels like to play these breweries because you do the same thing.
Yeah.
It's not a bad gig, but it doesn't mean anybody's engaged. It doesn't mean when you do decide to slip your original music in that anybody's even going to look up and notice, which in some ways is good because that means it passed the top 40 test.
Yeah.
You know, like, which is cool.
Yeah.
Like you want it to do that, but at the same time, it's like, what's the point? Nobody cares.
You want people to hang on your words, right? You spent time to write those words. You want them to listen to every word that you spent time writing. That's why. Right.
And on the arrangement that you rearranged 5 times. And, you know, it's a lot of work. So I didn't feel compelled to write for a long time until I was on Twitch. And then people would come in and say, do you have any originals? And, like, I feel like for a while, Kenny and I kind of treated our cover act like we weren't some kind of just like cheesy cover act, like we were more like an original group. But that's a lie. We're just a cover act like everybody else. Like there's no, just because we're young and cool looking doesn't mean that we're any different than, you know, the 80s tribute band that's playing in the other room at the casino. We're all doing the same thing. And so ride and vibe and let's go. That's right. Joe Theory in the chat. So it wasn't until finding a community on Twitch that I was finally like, there's a reason to put some music out. Like, let's do it. Let's start cooking some stuff up again that we can feel proud of. And then when somebody comes and says, you got anything? We can be like, yep, just check our Spotify. Like we're just as legit as you might assume. Haha.
Awesome, dude. Yeah. And how do you feel that? Feel your soul a little bit?
Yeah, I think for me, I've removed the expectation that I'm, you know, like gonna go viral or whatever. Which my wife says all the time that I probably could benefit from a little bit more delusion because I'm so cynical that I'm just like, I don't even care to shoot for the stars on all things original music, and that probably is problematic. So shout out to Sierra.
I'm the same way, dude. We have a very similar outcome. I was saying to actually the deliberate one who's in here with me, I was saying, like, this guy's a smart fellow. He's a lot like me. He knows what he's doing. Great marketer. Understands that, like, there's a lot of artists who are just artists and they just don't understand that you got to eat and you got to pay bills. And so, like, I really understand where you come from and I like it a lot. And I'm the same way, dude. I find it unbelievably difficult to spend $5,000 recording a song and hiring all these players and then never make that penny back. Ever. You're never gonna, I'm not going to specifically make $5,000 on a single song. I just don't make that kind of money on a song. It's pennies, right?
Right, totally. Yeah, so it's got to really be the one thing that I've been saying to myself and others lately is just that, like, really, there is no end goal. It's the process work. And if you don't like the process work, just leave while you still can. Like, quit now because all you have is the process. So it's like if you like going into the studio and you like recording this song and you liked writing it and that all felt good, then you're good. You don't need anything else.
Right.
But don't expect that anything's going to come from it because it's not. So hope you like the process. And if you don't, then just quit. And that's kind of almost where the band thing came. It's like I wasn't really loving the process anymore. So
that's brilliant. You're really smart, dude, and you're way ahead of me. Like I don't think at your age I was doing the same sort of outlook on things. It took me a few more years even. I was almost like early to mid 30s. Like I've been doing this professionally for about 8 years now. So it took me a long time, man, to stop chasing you're smart. And what will happen is you're just going to make songs that you want to make, and that will just do what it will, and it will grow organically, and people will like it, and you'll find your people, man. Just like Twitch, just like everything else.
Yep. And if as long as I like the process,
exactly.
I can't lose.
You had fun, right?
If you had fun, you won. You know what I mean? Like that's that stupid phrase, but it's like it's true in this sense too. So
absolutely. Okay, and so let's get to your acoustic duoing, and things are going great, and then the plague hits.
Yeah, and so I think like I actually look back at those early lockdowns like fondly, because in doing the acoustic duo gig and trying to keep that floating, like full disclosure, without any offense intended, and Ken knows this, he really does one thing for the act, and that's play really well. Yep. Like he's a very good musician, and we say that he's like the director of music within the group.
Yep.
But he doesn't do anything else. He doesn't post about our shows. He doesn't create Facebook events. He doesn't book the shows. He doesn't book the studio time. He doesn't create the stream room. He doesn't create the stream schedule. He doesn't do anything except for play guitar really, really well. So this is a bit of a handful at times. I'm also doing wedding photography and like finding success there. So that's a bit of a handful. And I'm the kind of guy that ends up having side gigs find me. So I'm doing all sorts of different work for all sorts of different people at all times. And so I think when the pandemic hit and we locked down, there was something really great to me about just like
yeah.
That was nice and relaxing to just like not owe anything to anybody. But at the same time, it was scary because I derive so much of my like happiness and serotonin from getting those emails, booking those shows, and booking those clients and delivering those pieces of content, or delivering those performances. So to not have any of it was kind of like, what do I even do?
Right.
Like, who even am I without doing all this work? So that was a little strange, but I look back fondly at it, and the only regret is that I didn't get on Twitch sooner, because there was definitely a big tsunami of a wave. When did you join? By the way,
I was okay. So about 3 months after the pandemic started, because I started on Mixer, which was the Microsoft platform that's long gone. So it closed 3 months after the pandemic for who knows what reason, and I had to like get my shit together and jump over to Twitch, and like a whole bunch of us migrated over, musicians especially. The gamers went to maybe Facebook or maybe YouTube or maybe Twitch, but all of the musicians came to Twitch. And I think that first 90 days that I missed, that cost me a lot.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
90 days.
I jumped right into streaming, but Facebook. I did it with my iPhone to Facebook Live, and we just said, hey, tip us if you want. And we did really well. Like we made double what we would make at a show for a good like 2 weeks straight. And then it kind of just like fell off. And I want to say that gigs came back for us at the end of June. Like summer was fine, basically.
Okay.
So it was like March, April, May, June. We didn't have anything. But we didn't join Twitch until November of 2020, which is so late. Like, it's so late. We basically missed that entire wave.
Yeah.
So I was lucky to have Just Joe Syracuse. We play the same market.
Okay.
And we've known each other for like a while because of that. So I was watching him find success on Twitch just through his Facebook post of like, hey, everybody, I just made partner on this crazy platform that nobody knows how it works, but I tell you guys it's great. And I just texted him and was like, is it like, please tell me more. And he was like, you have to. You guys would kill it. You're perfect for it. Like, you have to.
Yep.
And so we had a cancellation in November, again, due to COVID. And when I got the text, I was like, fuck it, Ken, we're jumping on. Like, we're not going to worry about setting up a broadcasting software or an interface or doing it well. We're just going to throw the phone up and do it. Like, it's time to join. We're just going to do it.
Okay.
And we essentially just never looked back since then.
So how did that grow for you? I really want you to get to you playing a song, but now I'm enthralled. So you started with a phone, and then what happened? You're like, okay, we need a robot. We need a...
Yeah. So, well, I have been a photographer and videographer for a long time, so I knew that my skills would lend themselves, like, nicely to streaming.
Of course.
But I almost feel like in some ways maybe it was problematic because I was so, like, worried that if I wasn't going to do it right, I shouldn't do it. That maybe is one of the reasons why I delayed, because I wanted to understand. I wanted to really kill it. But anyways, it didn't take long. It was literally like, I think I posted a video sometime last year of, like, a Facebook stream, and then our second stream we upgrade to using one of my rigs for wedding photography, and then by like a month in, our stream looked very similar to how it looks now, and we were all set and rocking. And I feel like in our first 3 months we did 90% of the growth that we've seen across the last almost 2 years now.
Amazing.
So it was kind of weird. Like I feel like we were like the new hot thing for 3 months on Twitch.
Yeah.
And then we've since plateaued, and we've been kind of slow grinding like everybody else. Like we're not sensational anymore. We're just another like streamer.
Right.
But that first 3 months was very quick.
That's
like
very cool, dude, because like you think about it, it's like all of us have already coalesced together. We've already rated everyone twice or 3 times in that first 6 months, and we have no one else rated. And we're like, all of a sudden, like, you're popping up, and you're getting rated, and then I get rated into, and then But then you also have to be great. When I get in there, it's got to be, it's got to be good music. How do you feel?
I always say that. I think the best streamers are yet to join. Like,
right.
In the same way that, it took you until April or May, and it took me until November. Well, it's going to take somebody else until next week, and they're going to be better than you and I, and they're going to do more than you and I, and they're not even on the platform yet. So, like, it's amazing how many of us, like, working musicians out there could just pivot to the platform and find some level of success. I know a few personally that that could do really well. It's just whether they want to. It does. I find it really hard when somebody asks me, should I join Twitch? I'm like, well, that's kind of a trick question, because yes, there's a lot of opportunity there and a lot of value to be derived from it, but there is also so much time that you have to put in to start pulling that value and opportunity out of it.
Yeah.
It's a depressing amount of time. Like,
yeah, like, just like we all get to see this way, right? Like, everyone sees the set. They don't see that way, which is a shit ton of cords and lights and cameras and, capture cards and interfaces and mixers and cables.
Oh, you start running out of USB ports, dude.
It gets ridiculous. And you're like, so yeah, it's glorious. It looks great behind both of us right now, but in front of me, there's a mess of cable. I mean, I'm pretty neat, actually. I'm sure you are too. I take it you're a lot like me. I'm
decent. Like, right now, I just got home from TwitchCon, and you can't see my floor normally. There's like a little overlay layer here.
Right.
So you can see there's shit all over my floor right now, including just like
random
pieces of clothing. Which I'm gonna put this on because it's gonna make my outfit complete.
There you go. Let's go.
Yeah, let's complete the fit.
Okay, so that looks very vibing right there.
Yeah, it's already much nicer. But yeah, I keep a pretty organized front of house. Like, so it's not too bad, but the room is much smaller than it appears. Like, I can almost touch both walls.
Yeah. Well, I think that also the Twitch thing about saying like the best streamer isn't on there. There's a lot of catching up. Like, you got to figure out how to make a bot run and then write all the commands, and you got to get your song list loaded, and you got to do like that amount of back end. And that's what I mean. It's like a lot of work to do this, man. That's why I was curious how it went from phone to like where you're at now. And
even all of that aside, like I find that maybe to be less of the difficulty, and really the time commitment to be the hardest thing, where it's just like, okay, if you were going to tell your friend to join Twitch, you would have to let them know that their first month is going to be a washout. Yeah. That it's like, look, you got to get in your first 2 weeks of streams before you're even really going to hit affiliate. So that's a washout. You're not eligible for certain types of revenue. And then once you get on there, You're going to start low, and it's going to be it's a lot of just like
wait for the
faith.
raids. Yeah, waiting for the raids, because we're all the musicians all find you. Eventually, we'll find you.
Right.
You'll be recommended,
Right.
but you got to wait for those raids to come through, and that's the
But you got to be a good viewer though to be a good receiver. Like
right.
some of the people that I've been able to find and that have found me, it's like, do not underestimate being a great community member in terms of receiving those raids that are going to help to kind of like propel you, I guess. Like, so it's not just that you have to be on your stream. You have to be in others.
Yeah.
So it's like you stop in my stream, every so often to say hello and hang out for a few minutes, and it goes a long way. That's why I feel like you're my boy.
Yeah,
and
course.
vice versa. You know what I mean? Like you have to establish that relationship without receiving anything.
Right.
Which is a whole nother type of time commitment. It's
Yeah.
like you can't. It's not enough. It's never enough.
I know.
Simply put, it's never enough.
How many music? Like I follow almost exclusively musicians. I have a few other artists and creators and stuff, but like I'm like at 350, 400, 500 follows, and like I gotta try to spend time. Like you said, the commitment is outrageous for like community building and like being out there giving and not receiving. And that's a whole nother level that people don't understand, and they don't get it because no other platform is like that. You could go, like I could go and tag you on this on my YouTube channel. Tag the Ende brothers, but it's not going to really shake anything up. Does it make sense?
Yeah, totally. Well, I will say like a yes and no to the statement, because I do think that everything thrives off of community. I just think Twitch, it's a little more blatant.
Okay.
So like if you want a successful photography Instagram, it's good if you comment on other photographers' images and interact. Leave the types of comments you want to receive. Follow the types of accounts that you want to follow you. And I think when you engage in the community, you create this type of relationship that you and I have, where it's like peer-to-peer support.
Right.
And so it's not as blatant and like easily connectable with things like raids. But I think if you want to, hilariously, have you ever seen Kenny finger skateboard on our channel?
Maybe once or twice.
Okay, well, in the most strange, like meta type of way, Kenny is a former professional fingerboarder. Meaning, there's brands out there where craftsmen like you create mini skateboards that are worth the same amount regular skateboards are. They literally, the deck costs $50, the trucks cost $50, the wheels have bearings, they're made of urethane, and they film themselves finger skateboarding. Kenny was a good enough community member and a good enough finger skateboarder within the cult underground fingerboard community that he got sponsored, and there's a little finger skateboard that says Ende on the bottom, and he's got a custom graphic, and kids are buying it across the country. Like,
That's
it's weird,
wild.
You wouldn't know it exists, but he's such a good, or was anyway, such a good community member within the fingerboarding scene. You can't. It's
off.
like when you play on a bill, you should watch the band that plays before you. That's the cool guy thing to do.
And after, yeah,
you don't sit in the dressing room.
No.
You watch the band before you. That's a cool guy thing to do. And I think that mentality is true in anything. If you want to be a great baker, show up for other bakers.
Yeah, man.
Be a part of the community. Go buy from the other local bakery and create an alliance with them. There's
100%.
value to being a community member no matter what it is you want to be successful at.
My story for that is just yesterday we walked down to a smaller owned cannabis shop, because in Canada weed is legal everywhere. There are weed shops everywhere, and there's a close one nearby that's kind of corporate. And then I walked down to this one called the Bakery Cannabis, and I walked in and started talking to the guy, and he's the owner, and he's like my age, and he's working till 11 o'clock at night every night, owns his own store, and the weed was more money there. And I spent more money on my weed. I'm like, dude, I'm going to buy from you because you're a good guy. And he's throwing me stickers and lighters, and he can't wait to give me more shit. And I'm like, I'm spending more money. And I'll take 2 of those plastic grinders over there just because.
Yep.
And, we connected and I was like, I love your neon. He's like, well, I order it from China. Do you want to get in on an order with me? And we'll order it, and we'll split the shipping. And I'm like, yeah, dude, just supporting that guy. I almost bet he will sponsor this channel with, a joint a week or something. You know what I mean?
Totally. Well, you're creating those relationships that you can lean on.
Mm-hmm.
Just being a good community member.
Yes, sir. And that literally community, walking down the road past the corporate place to the small guy to buy the stuff for more money. So, and you got to put your money where your mouth is. And that's why it's great on Twitch, is like people supporting artists and like putting the subs out there and the bits and the tonos. It's like putting their money where their mouth is, and they appreciate you, man.
Yep. And you gotta be there to show up. You gotta give your time. That you can't just hide you can't hide in the green room.
Yeah. Are you still writing these days, or when it comes to you, it comes to you?
Sorry, what was the question again?
Are you still writing music these days, or when it comes to you, it just comes to you, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, actually, like, I think Kenny and I are hungry towards putting more stuff out, but when it comes to like how and when I write, it is kind of like I am kind of more of the like wait for inspiration and less the like I'm going to sit down and write a song today, no matter what. Because I find that's like, it just, you don't create your best work that way, and it's not fun. Like,
it's a little rigid.
Kenny and I have tried to make appointments to write together, and it just doesn't really work. Mm-hmm. So I'm the kind of guy that I would prefer to just, on a random day, come up with something and then text it to him and be like, hey, look, this is a song. It's in the key of G. Like, this is a chorus that I like. Like, do you like it? And if you do, you want to write the verse? And sometimes that's how it goes. But right. I think every session should start with a core idea and then build off it. Don't just try to... Or, you know what? If you can do that, do it. I can't do that.
Right.
I wish I could maybe, but...
Start with a title or an idea or the chorus or the hit line or something. And sometimes it's just a melody that comes and you're like, these words fit in here and I like the meaning of this. And then the song goes from there, sort of thing.
Yeah, and it's... I think really good songwriting, probably you have to throw caution to the wind and just let your idea roll, no matter how good or bad it is. And I do feel a little tainted. It's like once you learn the rules of art, it's not art anymore. And it's like once you understand songwriting like really deeply, it stops being like authentically creative. And I think I lost that a long time ago, unfortunately. Mm-hmm. And so I like the stuff that we come up with, but it takes me a long time to like it, and we're very particular about when it's done and what's worthy. And that's probably the wrong way to be. And we know that.
But it's also because you're playing all number ones all night, every day, all the time. And everyone loves the reaction. So it's like, well, if mine isn't that, well, of course it's not every Eagles or Beatles hit or like Harry Styles hit that you play. Of course it's not. Like, you're comparing yourself to the Giants, you know what I mean? So I understand.
No, maybe not Eagles and Beatles, because they really do have some like super hooky stuff. But when you listen to Harry's album, though, it's more a vibe than it is a bunch of hooks. Okay. And I think that's what I mean. Like, we need to just make things just because we made them and not expect them all to be singles.
Yep.
And
that's what I mean also. We're playing, even if we're not playing Harry Styles' record, we're playing Watermelon Sugar, the hookiest song of the last two summers. Right. So it's like we're comparing our writing to that, because that's what we play all the time. We don't play the B-sides very often, right? We don't play so it's like very difficult for guys like you and I, because I am like, this sucks. Well, of course it sucks. It's not Paul McCartney. I mean, it doesn't suck. Right. It's just not Paul McCartney. But you got to look. Yeah. Take your expectations into the box where you fit.
Right.
Anyways, I was saying that because I really want you to play a tune for us, dude. A lot of this is about music.
Okay, let's do it.
You want to play original?
Let me throw my verb back on.
Okay, I'm going to switch you to full screen.
Yeah. What's that?
I'm just going to put you on full screen. So you do that, and I'll put you on full screen.
Okay, cool.
I am also going to mute myself and just let you have the screen, my man. Talk to us about how you wrote this, why you wrote this, and then let's hear it.
Yes. Okay, so I am going to start with some Ende Brothers stuff, just because I feel like that's what I want to promote right now. Some of the I have done stuff solo, but that's already come through and it's already happened. So I will play one of the songs, but I want to start with Ende Brothers stuff. I know. You know what, Pierce? I almost grabbed a stool, but I chose not to. Petition to get the Ende Brothers to just sit down in general. We should consider it. I'll say that. All right. So anyways, this one is coming out. I haven't quite decided yet, but it is recorded, y'all, and it does sound amazing. So I mean, from my own perspective, which is obviously, it's, you know, your own worst critic, so I guess that says a lot. But anyways, it's recorded, it's ready to rock. I can't wait to get it out. So and let me know in chat, y'all, is it a problem to put a song called Sunshine Love out in the winter? Is that a problem? Should that not be done? Like when I don't know, Harry Styles put out Watermelon Sugar, and it was tastes like strawberries on a summer evening. When that's the first lyric, can you put that out in January? Is that allowed? You know, like songs that mention summer, can you release them in the winter? Let me know, chat. I feel like you can't, but we'll find out. Okay, cool. If audio is good, I'm gonna do Sunshine Love by the Ende Brothers. This song, to be honest, like I really just wanted a good chorus that Kenny and I could harmonize with a very straightforward type of vocal that just wasn't rocket science. It was just almost like a Watermelon Sugar, a couple repeated phrases harmonized very nicely, and the rest of the song kind of follows suit. Kenny and I tried a lot of different chord progressions under the same melody, which was very interesting for us. We've never really done that. This song saw a lot of different keys and a lot of different chords before we settled on what it is now. But I'm really happy with it. I think it hits the vibe exactly how I wanted it to, and I can't wait to get it out. So here it is. I'm going to be doing Kenny's vocal as well. He takes the second verse, but it's no big deal. I got him covered. So here's Sunshine Love. Dark, out like a ladder that's lost its spark, yeah. Navy blue, cold are the colors when I don't have you, but I see a rainbow in your eyes. You shine so bright. Sunshine love, your love is like sunshine love. Sunshine love, your love is like sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. That's where we put little guitar licks and stuff. Gold skies, sunshine rays have got me blinded, hypnotized, hooked on your love. I need it all the time, so don't go. Don't wanna be flying solo. When I'm with you, time's in slow-mo. Just thought I'd let you know. Oh, sunshine love, your love is like sunshine love. Sunshine love, your love is like sunshine, sunshine, sunshine. When it rains, it pours, yeah. You're mine, I'm yours. We got one love, two of us, living last time. So give me your sunshine. Guitar solo goes here, it's ripping. Sunshine love, your love is like sunshine love. Sunshine love, your love is like sunshine, sunshine, sunshine love. Your love is like sunshine love. Sunshine love, your love is like sunshine, sunshine, sunshine love.
My dude. Just tremendous. That sounded like, was there claps? Did you do claps?
I put it on.
I was like, was that
streamer stuff?
Am I
streamer
hearing
stuff.
things? I live in apartments, so sometimes the pump just starts above my head, and I was like, is that the pump starting?
Right. Hello?
Who's there? White noise. Dude, that was tremendous. And like, I feel like all of your stuff, you say you go to Florida a lot with Sierra, you said at the very beginning.
Yes.
Dude.
Yep.
Very, very beachy. And same with the other track that you put out fairly recently, Vibin'.
Yeah, thank you. Yep, Riding Vibin'. Yep. So that was like, that song was written like in ode to our trips to the beach. So
amazing. Yeah.
definitely are kind of going for the sunny kind of California beachfront vibes. Just because I think it suits us. Like,
yeah,
you just lean into
and like
it. We're
skate,
pretty smiley, friendly dudes.
Yeah, and you skate, man. That's like, you know, and somewhere between, like, I don't know, don't take any offense to this. I'm just trying to like put some sounds in there that maybe might help you, or
I would never take offense.
Like, it's somewhere between like a Jason Mraz and a Sublime, you know, like it's a little edgier.
That's perfect. Yeah, no, that's perfect. I mean, we're definitely, at least me specifically, am wearing influences on our sleeve. When I put Riding Vibin' out, everybody said Sugar Ray. I said great, because that's kind of right where I'm aiming.
Okay.
I'm the Mark McGrath of this stream right now.
Okay.
I use that kind of joke all the time.
Where's the Frosted Tips, bro? They were here for a while, weren't they?
Yeah, they were. So it's like, for me, it's Sugar Ray, it's Jason Mraz, it's like you said, Sublime as well. Like, those are all spot on. We know what we're doing here. We're an acoustic duo. We play breweries and wineries, and that, to me, that's perfect fit. And it also has room, you know, to sneak a little John Mayer in there and get the blues guitar, because Kenny is a real blues guitar guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we haven't talked about him enough, but he is a tremendous player.
And he loves that angle of things, is like the
Stevie Ray Vaughan, man.
Soulful Stevie Ray Vaughan, kind of John Mayer, Jimi Hendrix type of real blues guy energy. So I also want to create a space where he can do that and be that, because I think we spend a lot of time trying to decide like what is the right kind of like genre approach for us, and it's what you do best, and that's what he does best. So I want to make sure that there's
that new song there. Is it available on all the streaming platforms and everything like that?
It's not yet, and so that's why I was like, can I put it out in January? Can I do that? Am I allowed?
I don't think that's a problem, dude. I think for some people, like we live up in Canada, it's like, oh man, this song is making me need to get away, and might make me go buy some tickets to Mexico or something. Sure,
yeah, and it kind of goes back to what we said earlier about like, who the fuck cares, dude? It's not a major label release. Like, what am I gonna miss out on?
Yeah.
Like, is it really gonna change the course of history if I put the song out
in January?
Instead.
And you know what happens is someone might find it in June, or it gets put on a playlist in July, and like,
totally.
So what? You know. I think the most important thing, I will let you know this, just because I have some insider about it, and like I'm trying to prepare myself for this as well with original releases. It's the same as YouTube and everything else, and even Twitch. The consistency is more important than anything. Like if you put a song out every month or two, like anywhere from 60 to 90 days at the most, and you keep putting music out, then the platform goes, well, let's throw the Indie Bros Riding Vibing on this summertime playlist because they're creating a lot of content for us. If you put one, and so it's very like YouTube too. If you're not continuing to put a video out every week, they're not going to put you on any of these freaking playlist like AI bots,
recommendations,
all of that stuff,
algorithms.
Right? Algorithm. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say. They're not going to put you in through the algorithm.
The A word.
Yes, the gator, alligator is what I like to call it. You just got to feed it cookies.
You're not going to put it in the alligator.
Yeah, you throw cookies.
Yep. But that makes sense to me. I mean, if it's true on one platform, it's likely at least semi-true on another. It's been weird to look at things like Spotify as like a type of social media when it's like music is now content. It's not just music, and like in some ways you also have to feed that beast.
Yeah.
And I think if I was to be realistic, I could see Indie Brothers doing 2 songs a year. So that's not a good schedule of writing, but
I mean, it only takes
really happening for us.
It only takes 2 more to make it quarterly. So if it ends up it only takes now, like, you're 4 songs in a year. That's quarterly. That seems like it's a good algorithm. Like
that's perfect.
You're feeding that out.
Quarterly seems fair for music.
If you could do that, I think. Yeah. I mean, I'm just throwing things out there just from what I've heard through the grapevine. Because
could and should and would, but it's it's kind of funny how it works this way, but having 2 people, it's harder than 1.
Oh,
like,
yeah. Fuck yeah.
It just is. You know what else is interesting and weird is that I think Kenny is a stronger writer than I am in terms of the things that he makes, but I am a stronger doer than he is in terms of my willingness to put things out.
Okay.
So it's like,
makes sense because if he's more musical,
he would rebake the cake 5 times until the cake came out perfect. I would bake it on the first one, and if it was good enough, it was good enough.
Yeah.
And I would put it out because I did it, because I made it. And the next time I make a cake, I'll put that one out too. And so the next song that I'll play, I'm not trying to segue into it quite
I am.
unless you're ready, but
yeah.
Okay. Well, the next song that I'll play, Ridin' Vibin', I wrote by myself. It's my song. It's up on Spotify as Tom Ende. But I tapped Ken into the process to help me. And he is such a good like producer helper type because he doesn't have to live with what goes out. So he's able to just like remove himself from that creative process in terms of his identity.
Of course.
And he's able to just give his creative juices without fear of like regret. Like he just
well, it makes
comes up with
sense.
stuff.
You and I are more marketing guys, and like we're musicians. Don't get it wrong, but I understand where he comes from, and I know where he sits. It's like there's a certain level that it has to be at for him to be okay with, and we're just kind of like, hey, let's just get this out here because we're gonna do better next time, or 1% per day.
And it's cool, and the people will like it regardless. Like my community is all about Ridin' Vibin'. They thought it came out great. They have no complaints. You know what I mean? Like they're not over there like hating on it.
I know.
But if it was Kenny's song, there's probably things he would change. There's things he doesn't like. That it's not quite hitting. It's not checking all the boxes for him necessarily.
Right.
But it was nice to be able to bring him in and utilize his creativity without him feeling like he needed to care too much.
True.
It's almost like the best thing to do would be to like trick him into writing a whole album for somebody else and then being like, hey Ken,
this is your album.
This is your album.
Brilliant. I'll get it.
It'll come out great.
I'll just ask the dude to do a co-write, and then I'll be like, this is yours, man. You did.
Yeah, exactly.
Trick
right.
him
You
into
think
it.
it's for me. Haha. Joke's on you.
Yeah. All right. Well, let me flip you over to full screen, and I'll mute myself, man, and let's hear Ridin' Vibin'. This one's super juicy.
Cool.
I've heard this one on Spotify and everything else, and we're gonna have all Tom. I know I put your link tree for Ende Brothers in here. So do you want me to put your link tree, or is there personal Spotify on that link tree?
My stuff's on there because Ende Brothers as a Spotify account doesn't have anything right now. So if you were to look for us on Spotify, the Spotify link within the link tree is Tom Ende.
Sounds great. Thanks. Take it away, brother.
Yes, sir. So just kind of like I did on the last one, I'll talk about this one a little bit. So it came to me like all songs do, which is normally when I'm caffeinated in the car driving somewhere. I'm like on my way to shoot for somebody, and I'm just like have that time to just think on it. And I had recorded some chords just as like a loop in my phone, and I ended up coming up with this to go over it. And then what Kenny added really was like the ability to produce a full song. Some people say that like when they write a song, they can hear it in their heads how it's all going to come out, and they can hear that there's going to be a synth part and a horn part and a like they hear the whole track, or that at least they can visualize it. I'm not really like that. I just write it on the acoustic guitar, and that's about as much forethought as I have. So he helped me to really like actualize the song, and he wrote this nice little kind of guitar lead for it. Like the main guitar that you hear in the song is something he came up with. Everything else was me, but I will say that I couldn't have made the song that I did without his help. So in a way, he kind of co-wrote it too. Like it wouldn't have come out the way that it did without him. So as much as it's a solo song, and as much as I wrote all the the chords and melodies and lyrics, like he did, the song is the way the song is because he helped me. So anyways, it's just a good vibe road trip song. There's no kind of like hidden messages here. And also special shout out to Twitch, because if not for Twitch, I would not have connected with Ende, who he doesn't really stream music on Twitch anymore, but he is a hell of a musician, just like a really great kind of pop artist. And I had found him, actually he found us on our first ever front page stream. And then I went into his stream the next day, and he was playing his own original stuff, and he was just crushing like these like rap performances, and I had wanted to put, because I was really throughout 2020 was really deep into Dirty Heads, and I love what they do with like hip hop, like what I'll call bro reggae. I love that stuff. But I never felt like a rapper. I never felt like I could write a rap verse. And so I tapped him in, and he did the rap verse on the song. And I was able to meet up with him in Nashville to shoot the video because I had drove down to Florida, and Nashville is kind of on the way home. So Sierra and I made the music video. The song is about the road trips that I take with Sierra, and we were able to stop in Nashville on the road trip to shoot the part with Indy and get him in the video for the rap verse that he had contributed. So I will do the rap verse on this acoustic take, but big shout outs to Indy for gracing the song. Big shout outs to Ken for helping me to complete the song and make it what it is. And then big shout outs to Sierra for inspiring the song and also doing a ton of help with the video creating. And then another little mini shout out to my boy Tad Jennings, who I've done a song with him as well. There's 2 songs on my solo Spotify, and the other one is a collab with Tad Jennings. He also helped out in the video process too, so talk a little more about that in a sec. It's been a long year, no doubt. It's time for you and me to go out. I wanna do something fun. I've been so impatient. I wanna feel your love and vibration. I wanna go somewhere I never gone. Get up and go, we both know. Gotta fill up and hit the open road. Cause I'm highest when I'm driving, and I'm vibing while I'm riding with you. With you. We could go hit the beach, as long as it's you and me. I wanna be with my girl. Life is on vacation. I can feel your love and vibration. Let's forget the whole world. Hey, thanks for the follow, newborn. Get up and go, we both know. Gotta fill up and hit the open road. Cause I'm highest when I'm driving, and I'm vibing while I'm riding with you. With you. I'm highest when I'm driving, and I'm vibing while I'm riding with you. With you. Hey, hit the open road, yeah, it's time to go. We vibing to the songs that we all love and know. And you can live it up with Indy and the Andy bros. We in the backseat getting lit. Cause you've been cooped up for way too long. The times have been rough, but we came back strong. I'm right where I belong. I spent time doing things on my own. Now I'm with my homies and I'm never ever going home. That's for sure, Court. Let's go. Hey, Adam, thank you for those bits. Bits to the bunker, bits to the bunker. Such a good ride, such a good time. I never wanna ever go home. It's a good vibe with you by my side. I never wanna ever go home. Such a good ride, such a good time. I never wanna ever go home. It's a good vibe with you by my side. I never wanna ever go home. I'm highest when I'm driving, and I'm vibing while I'm riding with you. With you. Cause I'm highest when I'm driving, and I'm vibing while I'm riding with you. With you.
Dude, so you mentioned Dirty Heads, and like I forgot, that's the vibe. That is definitely, you're opening for them with both of those songs. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think, you know what's like, okay, interesting point, but I love when a band pulls an opener that like isn't a clone,
yeah,
but is like quite different, but not too different to not fit. You know what I mean? Like you wouldn't hire, for example, you wouldn't hire Dirty Heads to open for Sublime. It's just like, it's a little too close.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I guess specifically when I'm speaking of those like opening, like you wouldn't hire Greta Van Fleet to open for Led Zeppelin.
Of course not. No.
That would be dumb.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
So right.
Like,
You're so right.
you don't want that like clone of the band type of thing. You want that like, this isn't what I expected, but it's actually kind of a good fit. So I could see Dirty Heads working for that reason, because it's, I don't know, we're a little more
on that same level, but you're a little smoother, a little softer, less rap.
little more like kind of pop rock, little less
Mraz,
like hip hop. Yeah. So yeah.
I love those.
Panic
guys.
opening for Fall Out Boy. Exactly, Newborn. That's exactly what you wouldn't do.
Yeah.
Although I'm sure that they have done that.
They probably did like a dual bill. That's a different thing though. If you're doing dual bill, or if you're on like sort of a festival.
But when Panic at the Disco was being, when they were breaking as a band, I think Pete Wentz signed them. So maybe I could see them piggybacking that just for his own financial gain.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what I wouldn't want to see in Newborn. You're right.
100%. Have you ever been approached by any management or any agents, booking, or anything like that for you guys to do something that they tell you to do?
Yeah. So I think when we were in the band, like back in the day, we had an agent. We had like a legit agency towards the tail end, and we had a manager, and there was plenty of like. I remember specifically a good example is I really wanted to cut my hair. We were like a Guns N' Roses type of like hard rock band, and I wanted to cut my hair, and I had told my manager, and he was like, you can't, dude, you can't do that. You can't cut your hair. Like people are not going to like that. Like you really shouldn't. And I was like, okay, fine. And then after like a year of like writing that, I was like, fuck this. I'm doing it. I'm not like, not running my haircut by my manager.
Yeah, you're not here for creative process, sir. Like,
right. And I love the guy. He was a fine guy, and he let us borrow a bunch of money like any good manager should. But so yes, we've been in the like have a manager, have an agency, no label, never was able to like kind of hook that up. But we were really close because we had a legit agency. Like they had a good ass roster of bands. We did like a real quick tour with Alien Ant Farm because we were on the same agency. Nice. It was almost a thing until it wasn't. And partially because I didn't want to do that kind of music anymore. Like I was over it. And so it kind of ultimately came down to like, yes, people wanted us to do different things, and when we were just like, this is doesn't feel good. So I cut my hair, and
you look great. Ended. How do you?
Yeah,
it all
here
ended.
We are. Right now, no label, no agency, no nothing.
And you're happier than ever.
Yes and no. I think I would. There's things that I'd like to be able to do, maybe, but like, I think I'm just over.
Yeah.
Striving.
Chasing.
You know, I'm driving and I'm vibing, but I'm not striving. You know what I mean?
That's amazing, dude. Well, what do you see? What is the future goal for you then? Like we've talked about what not to do and what we could do and stuff like that, but what do you see? Where do you want to land with all of this? With your solo, or your brother, or together or not? What do you see as the future for this whole thing? I mean, we go through our music careers with no real like final goal because there's no end to music, of course, and there's no retirement. I'm not going to retire. I like playing music. It's fun, right?
Right.
So like, what is the final goal for you? Where do you want to land?
That is like, interestingly enough, a question that I have been trying to consider lately. I do, in a sense, I do see myself aging out at some point, because it's just like, once you hit that like 50 silver hair kind of like, it's like, dude, just chill. Just chill.
But I also have there's a certain amount of respect. Like I have a guy booked recently, actually, who's a full-time musician. You know, he's still kind of driving around in a grubby little car and doing his thing. But like, I have a certain level of respect for him that he was not willing to fucking stop making art. And like, he's not doing covers. Like he'll do covers in his shows, but he's going around and playing pubs and doing like tours at these little hole in the walls. And it's like, there's a certain level of respect there that I'm like, oh, okay, you don't give a fuck. You give zero fucks.
Okay. Here's where I'm at. I think it really comes down to like, And what a dark way to take this question.
That's okay.
But there's like, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with aging and being a musician, but there's like every once in a while I catch myself in a venue watching a cover band, and I just think to myself, cut me off before I get here. Somebody never let me be that. Somebody please tell me when it's time to stop, because I do not want to be this band.
I also know who you're talking about, and that's not the level of musicianship or professionalism
and
you hold yourself.
When you're talented, and you know your age, and you know you can be.
There's a spot to fit.
I'm not saying you have to quit because you hit a certain age, but I am saying that like
because careful, I'm 10 years older than you, bro. Just take it easy over there.
I know. I'm
just kidding.
Sorry. I think it's also partially that knowing that my type of branding and appeal kind of is that like younger boy bandy pop type of thing. Well, it's like, at what point do I become? You know, when you look at the Backstreet Boys now, and you're kind of like,
oh, bro, you're way too old to be a boy band.
You guys aren't that hot anymore. You're just not. Like, it's dude, at a certain point, they kind of have to stop being the Backstreet Boys. Like,
right, but Justin Timberlake could sit with an acoustic guitar, wrinkly as fuck, and everyone still loves him because he transitioned that out. There's a way to do that, right? Dick in a box, maybe? I don't know. I don't know what that was, but
in a sense, I'll say that I'm afraid that I will age out sooner than later. Mm-hmm. But in terms of like what I want to do, how I want to approach all this, I think in a sense I'm trying to remind myself that I'm actually doing it right now.
Yeah.
That I work for myself. I play music with my brother. There's a sustainable outlet in terms of like IRL gigs and working within my market. There's a sustainable outlet, if that's not happening, to do things here on the internet with people that appreciate what I'm doing, and it's worth showing up over and over again. And what
that's
more
it.
do you really want?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
What more do I need? Like, yeah. I think it would be cool to have a level of demand where it's like kind of just I will provide this and they will eat it up, or I will book a show in fucking North Carolina and people will want to show up.
Yeah.
Like, I will have this kind of built-in draw, but I don't need to like rise to. I don't need to go viral. I don't need to like.
Do you like?
You really love music. Play the game.
You love music, though.
Right.
So there's all these other jobs like managers and agents, and we can do it so we can make the next generation great without screwing them over.
Are you booking for any venues? By the way,
I can, yes. If you need some help,
because I do, but I more so mean like, since you and I are cut from the same cloth, I book for like a restaurant in the area, and it's such a great little like side thing for me to do, where it's like I know everybody, I know what everybody is like kind of worth, and I know how the whole thing works, and I can consult and I can book, and it's like things like that are nice little cards to pull.
Well, even just this show that I'm doing now is like one of my tickets out. Like, I want to just talk to musicians and learn about them and promote them and grow this channel so that it can be something, and overfill the cup this way to pay other and help them, help people.
Right. And that's what, when you said your ticket out, that's kind of what I meant when I said like aging out personally, where I'm like, it's not so much that I think once you hit 45, you are never allowed back in another state. Like, that's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm more so saying that understanding my appeal.
Yeah.
And knowing what I'm capable of and what works for me and what doesn't. And it's like, maybe I'll pivot again in my lifetime. But as of right now, I'm really kind of capitalizing on the pop formula of like, look cool, sing catchy songs. We're two brothers. Like,
you're so
isn't
smart,
that cute?
Dude. You're
it's
a smart
like,
kid. Bro.
That doesn't last forever. Eventually, we'll just be two old guys. And once we hit
still
that
be brothers,
point,
though.
Cut me off.
Yeah.
When people are like, hey, if I ever have to go to a nursing home, just unplug me.
But
like,
dude, I'm building a digital venue and I'm doing podcasts. Like, my leeway out of this is to like make a tiny desk where I get to live music still, where I
Right.
I have a really great digital venue where I sit here all day and engineer music for other great musicians and give them a platform. So like, think about those ways. Creatively think about how you liaison what you know and what you've done in your time, because this is not an easy industry. And take that and maybe you write a full course online that kids buy on the internet on what not to do. Don't get them in, you know, like, or whatever that book is, right?
Yeah.
There are
Yeah.
ways to sort of take your skills as you're doing this and sort of start thinking about when you're 45. I'm going to have a book. My book is going to sell gangbusters because it's going to be titled How I Made $1 Million and No One Knows Who I Am.
Right.
You know what I mean?
It's that tutorial content type of angle where it's like,
You've done it.
you know,
You've
you don't
lived
have
it.
to. Right. We
Right.
got a lot of tricks of the trade over here.
Exactly.
And speaking of that, I've considered doing streaming tutorial content, but there's just not enough time in the day for me because
Not
I'm
yet.
also trying to put my song out, and I'm also trying to make sure I
Yeah.
get my 3 streams a weekend, and I'm trying to
Yeah.
shoot the weddings that I have to shoot, and the, you know, the commercial work that I do for wineries and breweries and restaurants, and I'm also trying to live a normal person's life with,
Yeah, good luck.
you know, friends and family and relationships and
Your wife.
downtime, and yeah, and I want to take a walk around the block too. Do I have time for that? Like,
I'm
to
actually
just
going to
go
let
for a
you
walk?
I'm going to let you do that very soon, actually, because we.
Yeah, no, I didn't mean it that
No,
way.
I know you
That way.
didn't,
Just
but
mean, like,
I'm thinking to myself, yeah, Sierra's here waiting for her lovely man to come out. And
meatloaf.
And
We're gonna make it meatloaf tonight. So.
we had chili and stews in the crock pot right now, so that's awesome,
Yep,
dude. Well,
that's-
thank you for your time, man. Your insights are unbelievable. I think this is tremendous for other musicians to hear. Like, you're a realist, like I am. I don't fluff around the corners. Like, it sucks. It's hard to do this. I'm tired. I love doing it, and I wouldn't do anything else. But making original music is a money trap, and doing cover gigs is a fortune for me. Like, I do great.
Yep.
So all of the things you're saying is like how I've built a successful business where, like, I go home on the weekend to see my parents, and I'll tell you a story. I went home to my parents after one weekend, and I had not quit my jobs yet. I was playing music, and I went home with like $2,000 in cash. Tip jars were huge, had a couple great gigs, and I flopped it on my parents' table, and I said, I'm going to quit my jobs. I just hope that you can be proud enough of me that I'm just going to be a musician now. And it was like that moment where, you know, I became a professional musician, I think.
Yeah, no, totally, and that's that moment too. Because, like, I mean, I was like, I think like 19 or like 20 at the time, but I think it really is the quit the job moment.
Yeah.
Because when you're an adult, you need a job. Period.
Yeah.
That's how it works.
Yeah.
And eventually, you start to look at your side gig, and you realize that you're probably losing more money by going to work than you are by
Hell yeah.
not.
Hell yeah, man.
And you get to quit, and then, you know, it's
Life changes.
it's definitely not all sunshine and rainbows because it's hard work still, and, you know, you gotta file your own taxes, and
Yeah.
there's a lot of back end bullshit that goes into it. But it is definitely that quit the job moment, and I've had it, and you've had it,
Yeah.
and Sierra's had it. She's doing art and wedding photography,
Amazing.
and Kenny's had it, and it's just it's the best,
Yeah. So I think we
It's-
won.
it's
We won life.
the best.
We won at life,
Yeah,
right?
in a way we did, and that's why when you're like, what do you want to do? It's like,
I'm
what more
doing
do
it.
I need?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm doing it.
yeah, I'm kind of doing it right now.
Yeah. Cruise it into the shoreline, my friend. Do what you need to do. I just think for me, like, again, I'm very similar to you, and I'm like, what is the out of this? Like, at 65, my hand might be arthritic. You know what I mean, or whatever that is. I don't know what the
Right.
anything could happen. I could blow this voice out, or get have something happen to me, and I need to have my way out, my retirement plan, because there isn't one. We don't have, there's no retirement plan
Right.
for this. So yeah, think about that, and think about what you want to do, what you love about music the most, I think, and sort of like lean that way. I love going to a good music venue and watching bands. And when I do these live from the bunker, I don't know if you ever watched one, man, but my YouTube channel has these live sessions of artists who don't stream, who come over and do a session here of their 30 minutes of their original music, and it fills my soul, dude. Most times I cry. I'm emotional.
And it's content for them that they otherwise would not have been able to create.
100%.
And that's like the other big thing.
Right.
It's just like
Community.
offering that community like value because you have it.
Yeah.
And you can give it to them by, they don't get to record and direct into an interface with multi angles. And
Yeah.
that's you got to pay money to get that done, and it probably wouldn't come out as good anyways.
Yeah, and like I don't know what the cost is, but ultimately I would like to be able to pay the artist to come do that, to be honest. That's the goal here.
Right,
It's
totally,
like I want the
totally.
cup to overfill enough that okay, all the bills are paid, everything is doing fine. Here's $250 for your half an hour original set, like you would get at a covered gig on a night. You know, that's the goal, man.
Well, in that same vein, I haven't talked about these guys at all yet, but I should, just because they're a big part of our current process. The stuff we've been doing with Mogul House, they have a similar kind of like hybrid podcast performance approach that they also run on Twitch.
Okay.
So I don't know what your normal schedule is like, but that's the channel to raid into because it's this exact same type of format.
Okay.
But from a
their angle,
different channel.
Yeah.
So it's like it's that same vibe, and they're also just looking to, create a platform for independent artists to, share their talent in a space that they otherwise would not have with resources they otherwise wouldn't have access to. So,
absolutely.
As you explained your like kind of process and stuff, it reminded me of our homies at Mogul House.
And I saw a lot of your content on Instagram with them and stuff. They make great stuff, dude.
Yeah. No, we love them. We love working with them, and just another sick opportunity and connection through Twitch is just getting to have all these friends that do all this cool shit and being able to do cool shit with them. So
hell yeah,
kind of like we're doing right now.
Absolutely. And dude, if you ever get a chance and you're able to get over the border, you guys are always welcome here. We got a spot for you to stay. We got venues and breweries out the wahoo here. And we can even just busk down the corner. Like I live in the city of Toronto. It's pretty busy. If we go down to Keele and Dundas and just stand on the corner, we make a few $100 just chilling. And
okay, I like it.
We could film it and we could stream it, and
Well, before we do any of that, we got to make a harmony video.
How do we do that? Right
Well,
now?
I just mean like if we're in the same vicinity, the first thing we're doing is pulling out the iPhone.
Okay, yeah.
We're gonna rip some Eagles harmonies or something.
Okay, yeah. It looked great when you were doing that with all the people at the TwitchCon. I was loving that content.
Yeah, thanks, dude. I think that's our like our new format for the bros because we got 2 parts. We just need that third.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like we'll take care of 2 parts. We'll sandwich you in a nice harmony.
Yeah.
That's my go-to now. So
I love it.
But and likewise, like if you ever want to play in New York, I mean it's not anything special, but you know how it is. I can get you one of those run of the mill.
Yep.
Play for a built-in crowd, get a few hundred, and call it a day type of gig. So,
yes, sir. Right on. Well, we live the same life, dude. I really like to really brighten my day because I like that there's guys doing what I do and they're not just all turning into DJs. Guys who are 10 years younger than me are all just DJs because it's hard to play music. It's hard to learn an instrument. It's very easy to make a set.
It's manual labor, dude. It's manual labor to sing.
Yeah. Anyways, my brother, I do need to cut this because the files get too big for me.
Totally. Yeah, well, hey, get out of here. I got meatloaf to make.
I know. Well, thank you so much for this time, dude. And I would love to, I would actually love if Kenny would ever do it. I don't know if he ever has a time, but I'll talk to him about it and just get Kenny on here and get his side of the whole story, too.
Yeah, I'm sure he would. I have to book him for you.
I love that. You're the best brother ever, dude.
It's true.
You're the best. All right. Well,
I'll see if you know what I'm going to be going to Florida again in a month or something. If he's doing solo streams, I'll see if we can rig up the same thing. He comes on here and then raids into you, and
that'd be super great because I would love to hear it from the other side, right?
Yeah.
Because you're telling me the business side, and Kenny's going to tell me the art side and where he got angry and why he didn't. You know, it's just a different perspective.
He's the sensitive artist of the two. I am the entrepreneur.
Right. I love it. All right, dude. Well, I think I'm a combination of both of you because I live spiritually through both of you guys. Your streams are amazing. Your harmonies are amazing. Your song list is amazing. And I hope we get a chance to shake hands in real life, dude. Give you a big hug.
We will. I feel it coming.
Yeah, soon enough.
That's right. All right. Peace and love, dude. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
I really did enjoy it. And, do this anytime, on or off camera.
Thank you so much. All your links will be in all the descriptions and everything else. And everyone who's watching right now, it's in the chat. Thank you, my brother. And we'll talk to you again soon.
Sick. Peace and love.
Cheers,
Hanging
man.
up.
Woo! We did it. That's 2 in the books today, guys. I mean, it's 2 different weeks on YouTube, but if you're watching on Twitch, we had Kenny's Prog Rock Jukebox, and now we did Tom from the Ende Brothers. This has been a heck of a night. All of the music community came through today. Thank you guys who are here from the Ende Brothers community on Twitch. I appreciate you being here. All of these VODs go up to YouTube. God, at the Pasties. And they also go to the audio podcast platform. So Apple Music or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, whatever. I don't know what they're called anymore. It's just like, do you want to send it to all of them? I'm like, send it to all of them. So you can go check that out. If you could, on your podcast platform, just go give us a rating and a review. That would be helpful. Like, comment, subscribe on all the things everywhere. All of my links are below. All of Tom's links are below through the link tree of the Ende brothers. And make sure you follow along with those guys. They're great dudes, just lovely fellows. And that was a great conversation. And like I said, we're going to get the other half of the Ende brothers on, Kenny, at some point, and we'll get a whole different perspective on that whole journey, which is very interesting. Super stoked about that. Similar to the Jordan Lane one, I got to get Eklo on here so we can get his perspective on all of Jordan Lane's perspectives. Anyways, everyone, thank you very much for being here. I'm going to say until next time, keep it between the mustard and the mayonnaise.